You have us up, by the way.
I do have us up. Oh man. Hello everyone. I'm so glad you said that because I'm over here clicking stuff.
Oh, we were gonna share it. I'm like, what the? I was like, oh, okay. Hey.
I clicked the button and it didn't do it. Okay. Well, we're live. Hello everyone. If you don't know who I am, my name is Brandon. I make videos telling you to go buy stuff and tell you how to use stuff. But the truth is, I'm here with an awesome person who we kind of met happenstance, done a podcast with before, and we've kind of just connected. And it's really awesome to have someone who has a kind of a similar journey, but then also a similar niche and just wants to be able to help people. And I love that. So we've got James with us today with Pew's Review. How's it going, brother?
What is going on, man? Over here just trying to share the podcast before we get started.
Yeah. Crazy, man. I'm doing the same thing. I'm literally like going to stuff. It was supposed to sit there on that screen for like 60 seconds. And I was like, man, this is going to be great. But it'll be what it is, man.
It's all good. Joys of being a content creator is you get like little things like this that we can look back and laugh on later.
Yeah, it'll be what it is. But that's also what we're talking about today is just getting started. Everyone hits stupid moments. Everyone finds their brick wall. Everyone finds their opportunity to feel like they're trapped. So that's what we're going to have a conversation about today is how do we get started? What do we do? What's the next step? And go for that. So here's what I've got on the ticket for today to talk about. We've got getting started, software budget. We're going to talk about equipment, discuss what we started with, first video ideas, actually trying to get your content going, quality versus quantity, and then we'll end up with imposter syndrome because I think it's important that we talk about sometimes the roadblocks that hit us. Got anything else you want to throw in there?
No, I think we're good. I think we're going to be... I will be surprised if we can get through all those within an hour, to be honest with you.
I'm going to move us, man. I'm going to get us moving. All right. So before we get into anything, just as a reminder, someone might have not seen any other podcasts or even know you, but they're on my channel. So let's give a small little background. Who is James Pew? What is Pew's Review? The floor is yours, man.
Beautiful. So, I'm James, also known as Pew's Review. James Pew, last name, Pew's Review. What I do is content based around pretty much Xbox and streaming through Xbox. That's really my compound niche as of right now. We're looking to expand that eventually to help more people out. But for right now, I do anything Xbox related. So controllers on like reviews on controllers, reviews on cameras that can be used to plug and play on Xbox. Also how to use DSLR cameras on Xbox or even mics themselves, USB or XLR mics on Xbox. And really my core purpose is to bring that family friendly, pretty much straight to the point, no nonsense, no fluff. I figured podcasts like this is where people can really get to know me at and just get to the point because that's what we're all here for nowadays. And I just saw a need to help people in that general area. And that's pretty much what I've been doing ever since. Simple.
Love it.
To the point.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So, if you can't tell, if you've watched any of my content, we are very close and niche. But in that same case, I haven't been covering a whole bunch of console stuff lately. Partially because I keep getting stuff sent to me that has absolutely nothing to do with it.
I know the struggle, brother. I just said no to something because it was going to be sent to me. It had nothing to do with the Xbox or anything. And I was just like, look, I gotta like step back for a few minutes.
Yeah, totally. My issue is it's not stuff that I normally started covering, but then my views go up because of it. I'm like, man, well,
the viewers want it.
Covering this.
Yeah, I mean, if the views, the views dictate it at the very end of the day because if they want it.
Got it. Hey, make sure in chat, if you go ahead and comment, we can go ahead and see what's happening there. Ultimate Cookie says hello. Make sure you go ahead and comment below. We'll be able to see all of those. All right, let's jump straight into it. Okay, getting started. I want to talk about our journeys and kind of like pick apart what that start was because I've been doing this for 4 years, a little over 4 years. How long have you been creating content?
It's been over 2 years now.
Okay. All right.
So
And
a
so
little bit
in
less
that,
than you.
oh gosh, yeah, but huge growth in 2 years, man.
I'm doing okay, I think. I hope. You say that, but then like try not to get too far off of it. But then I'll look at it sometimes and be like, man, I am not growing at all. I suck. This is
Yeah.
horrible.
Well, we'll
But
talk about that because that's part of that imposter syndrome piece that we have at the end, right?
yeah.
Also, make sure you commenting in chat if you have questions and things like that. If you're listening to this on Spotify, YouTube, whatever that blah 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 stuff, everything. Love you all. Make sure you join into any live streams. Drop a question. All right, so let's talk about that. Getting started. When I first started content, I just started doing what I needed to do with the gear that I had, but I also had some pretty decent gear. We'll get into each of those things, but the truth was how I got started was not traditional, unique, but I guess everyone's story is completely different. But what about you? How did you fall into it? Did you feel like there was a need? Why did you hit record publish the first time?
Yeah, I wanted to. I almost felt like I've always was supposed to be like on camera doing something. Like as weird as it sounds, even growing up, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna be an actor. I watch anime and feel like, practice doing anime fights by myself and powering up like Dragon Ball Z. Very weird driving down the road doing that as a 30-year-old in a semi truck. But the point is, I just knew I was meant to do something than just my normal everyday life. And that's why I started Pewdreview, because I was like, hey, I want to be able to bring something that can, just give people information, show off my personality on camera a little bit, and maybe grow into something to be able to help people overall.
Got it. So, when you got started, what was your biggest? I don't know. Did you purchase stuff to get started? What was that? What was that like?
Yeah. So when I first started, it was literally with my cell phone.
Okay.
And I didn't even have a light when I first started. I literally pressed play or record, as Sean would say, on my cell phone and started talking. I didn't even have this yet. I was gonna bring this up because we're talking about gear now. I bought this. This was my first upgrade. It was like a $20 Bouye lapel mic that I bought at the time. And by far the best investment I made on myself at the time for $20 because it made my audio better. And I truly believe anybody's first investment should be on something audio related, not video related or software related personally. So yeah, so cell phone and a Bouye lapel $20 mic. So I was very cheap starting out.
Yeah, I've got that exact same lapel mic because we probably watched the exact same review talking about how it would be the best microphone to get started on a budget. It's
YouTube's
like 20
so
feet long, that cable. It's ridiculous.
It is. I mean, you see, it's a bird nest right now. It's crazy how long it is.
They give you a nice little bag, and it doesn't fit all in the bag after you pull it out the first time. At least for me, I couldn't get it back in there. Yeah. It's funny that you say that, but I literally bought the exact same thing. I got my first camera, and I was like, gosh, I need good audio. Let me get a lapel, right? It is a good lapel, though.
It's definitely an upgrade. But now when you go back and like play with it and talking to it, and you're like,
oh yeah,
hey, what?
Yeah, not
sounds a little different.
Not when you fully upgrade, but the truth is getting started is perfectly fine. And when it comes to like getting started too, when I first started making content, I was just making it on just a gaming laptop, right? I was using the webcam on the laptop, the microphone on the laptop, nothing crazy. I eventually got my very first like microphone. I got a Fifine microphone for Christmas, like 6 months after I started making content. My wife was like, "Oh my gosh, your audio sucks. Let's get you a better microphone." So
the audio guy.
Yeah, she bought me like one with a boom arm, and she was like, you need that. I mean, I had told her, I was like, yeah, I need a new, listen to this. This is kind of what I want. She was like, yeah, okay, just let's solve your stuff.
That's awesome though. She was so willing to tell you that, because like that means she's there to help you grow. So a lot of times our friends and stuff won't. I tell my friends all the time, tell me where I'm doing bad at. I don't want you to tell me what I'm doing good at, because I want to grow, and the only way I'm gonna grow is if you tell me where I suck. So it's awesome if she told you suck at audio, or your audio
Yeah.
sucked at the time.
Being the guy that now makes it all the time, right? I'm dropping, somebody asked in chat a link for that mic, by the way. I'm dropping a link in chat just for
I
you to
know
be
who
able
that
to pick that
person
up.
is. That's Bane. He started a YouTube channel after our last conversation. He's trying to get going now. So it's
I love
awesome
it.
to see him on it. Yeah.
Congratulations, Bane. We just dropped that in there. If you want information about that, it's a Boya M1 lavalier microphone, by the way. Yeah, so I picked up that microphone, I started creating, and for over a year I made Destiny content. And it was literally me watching people play Destiny on other YouTube videos and me going, okay, all right, I can play Destiny and make little dumb weapon reviews. Okay, this isn't hard content. You know, I had one video hit 8,000 views and I thought I was like the goat. Everything was like 100 views. I thought I was the best person in the world. But at the time, that was amazing. That felt great. 8,000 views on a video, right?
Yes, I remember that. I remember my first 100. I was super excited, like just excited about. I was like, "Oh, I hit 100 views," and now I look back, I'm like, I only hit 1,000 views on that video. Really?
But it's just a different area, a different part of the season that you're in. You know, that starting season is crazy. So when it came to it and you looked at it when you were making content at the beginning, I think this is some of the questions that a lot of people might have. They watch people, for example, in our niche, streaming niche. There are creators like Epos Fox, Harris Heller, Gaming Careers. There's other smaller creators that are larger than us, but not as big as some of the ones like Gale Photo, which is Gale Level Photo, but he's Gale Level. They have really great content, visibility, view, everything. When you looked at their content and you made your content, right? Was that something that you were like, I need to try to replicate it? You know, were you upset with what you put out? When was that time where you said, you know what, screw it, I'm just uploading?
Yeah, so when I first started, I thought that I needed to be perfect. Like honestly, my first video is absolute dog water, as the kids would say nowadays. And yeah, I wanted to be at that perfection before I uploaded. And the truth is, your first upload is gonna suck. I mean,
Right.
honestly, at the end of the day, and I'm not saying you suck. Listen to what I'm saying. If you stay with the craft for even a month straight and put out content for a month straight, and then you go back and watch your first video, you're gonna be like, wow, that video sucked, even though you wanted it to be perfect. So my advice is always just to press record and grow through the process. Repetition is king. And if you continue to do it, you will continue to get better.
Yeah, totally. I love that. I love that advice. By the way, I just got a text message. A former teacher that I teach with, their student found my live stream. I just want to say hello, Landrum. Hello, previous school that I taught. I love you. And I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. So I just wanted to do a shout out for that. Hello, everyone. Yeah. So yeah, when it comes to like just hitting record, getting past all that stuff, that's probably one of the hardest things, because even myself, I tried to like emulate channels that now I'm where I am now. I have the equipment that I have now. And then looking back at that time thinking I can emulate that after finally knowing what all goes into it, how to create everything. I was running against a wall very early on. But at that same point, I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't make the content that I did at that time. Mm-hmm. And being challenged to say, you know what, it's okay. Let's just get started.
I think honestly, everybody goes through that, because like even with me, like I catch myself even now where I'll say something that one of my competitors say. Like since I do like controller reviews all the time, there's a Gamer Heaven is one of the guys, and then there's another one. Gosh, I forget his name, but he's like 20 years old and he's got like he's not politically or anything correct on camera at all. Really bad language, but I find myself watching them and they're so good at what they do, and then I find myself every now and again imitating what they do. And I know when I first started on, I tried to do that a lot more, and I realized that, not like the cussing and all that, of course, but just like the way they structured and the way they did their stuff. And I realized going down the road that because you're taught that when you watch all these creators and stuff to teach you how to do stuff, they tell you that you need to, ride that wave of what success is, like whatever's working, ride that. But I think we get confused on riding that, but also in the same sense, doing it, putting your own spin on it. And I think that's where I've kind of grown at. Every now and then I catch myself doing it, but I'll ride that, whatever's going in search, whatever is going in like popularity and content at a time, but with my own spin. I think you learn that the more you put in, the more work you put in stuff, you get more comfortable on camera, and eventually your personality just eventually starts to kind of come out more, and you feel a little bit better about yourself and not having to try to imitate someone exactly on camera.
Yeah, totally. And I think imitating is not a bad thing. I think there's a learning process to that. I think what you're trying to mimic is that just because there might be that feeling of, oh, I'm basically being this person, but in my own. I think what you're really trying to do in the end, if you think of the psychology of it, is you're learning good video habits, proper ways to do pacing, maybe ways to incorporate B-roll, things that you can do to really help yourself as a creator understand more of the ecosphere, even though you might not be knowing you're doing that. By emulating them and trying to see what it is, that is a huge learning process that I think now later into YouTube, learning all of the nuances that come with some of the stuff, and just being, hundreds of videos in, that you just learn that, well, that's why they were doing it. I got my style by watching people. However, what works for me now, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think also at the end of the day, when you like start out and stuff and you get going and your personality starts to come out more in the camera, it's a good thing, because it's so hard for people. And a lot of people do this. A lot of content creators do this. They put like a facade almost on camera every time they hit record. And man, that gets so tiring to try to have to uphold that facade every time you hit record, and that's why you see people go through burnout. That's why you see people get, with anxiety and depression and all these different things on camera, because they're putting a facade on every time they hit record or go live, and eventually it just catches up to them. So the important thing is, when you put your personality out there, you're attracting the people that like your personality. So it's so much easier to grow in that kind of an environment than a fake environment.
Yeah. And in that same case, like you said, you can repeat it. It's not, you're not forcing anything. It's not work. You're doing it. There's creators that do it successfully, like Dr. Disrespect, Ben Jammins, right? They're someone who plays a character, right? And that's you can think of that. He might not want to agree with this. Guy Beam might not say, well, I'm performing a theatrical experience every time I start. But the truth is, being a character is part of jumping into that. And if that's what your content is, sure. But if you go viral off of one piece of content that you can't recreate, and then they constantly expect that piece of content and you're unable to deliver, that audience that did find you is not going to be with you. I worked with a creator not even a month and a half ago. They blew up, absolutely blew up on YouTube, over 2 million views, 2 million subscribers, hundreds of thousands of views off of a short. And the short had something in there that they couldn't recreate consistently. And so every new video, every new upload, there's always comments, hey, when are you going to this? Sure. Was it engagement? Yes. Sure. Did they watch the video? Maybe. But nowhere near the level of virality that original content piece had. And this person was really struggling with, do I want to continue making content because, or do I just start over because I can't recreate that constantly?
Yeah, that's so good, because one of the biggest things that I'm actually glad that didn't happen to me, and I wanted it when I first started. I think I don't know about you, but like when I first started, that's what I wanted. I wanted that video that was going to go viral and it was going to have me millions of views and people were come subscribe. Now that like I've grown at a slower pace, I'm happy that I'm growing at a slower pace, because we're going to be talking about it in a little bit, but just a sneak peek. That's when imposter syndrome come in, because you make this viral piece of content and then you feel like you have to keep going in that, and you feel like you can't, and then like these thoughts and stuff start drowning you and stuff, and that's how channels that seem like they're doing great burn out really quick and die, because they just can't keep up with what they put out. So
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because the content that they are producing a lot of times is great content.
Yeah.
But they feel like they can't like drive on that. This specific YouTuber, I felt so bad for him. They wanted me to come on and edit for them and be like kind of speed up their process a little bit so that they could kind of find their niche and just kind of just drown the content, like the market with content, to kind of just
Right.
move past it. And eventually the two of us didn't see eye to eye and we parted ways because he was on a published schedule that I just couldn't upload. I just couldn't keep that. So
Yeah.
he's still doing great. He's still uploading, but I mean, it was things like, I don't want to upload anymore. I'm done. And I mean, successful creator, someone that you from the outside you would look at and be like, man, this is great. They've blown up. They're doing awesome. Look at the amount of subscribers. Look how many viewers they get. And they're just defeated. And I'm over here with my channel where I'm sitting at, right? And I'm like, I don't feel that way at all. And I agree with you. I'm so glad that I have had this slow growth over the years because I've built the audience and I've gained the tribe that I want. And my comment section on YouTube really shows that when they're making back and forth comments, like, I don't like this, I like this. Like today, I released a video yesterday and we're going back and forth in a comment thread talking about a specific like microphone that they're like, I don't really like this, but I like this. And it's good to have that back and forth when it is an opportunity. But these people, he's having comments like, when are you going to release this piece of content that he plans to never recreate, right? That's so difficult.
Yeah, and then the other side of it for him mentally is, you know, he got millions of views on one video, so every other video he puts out, psychologically, he's not getting those views, so it's just gonna beat him down on top of what he's already feeling like. So yeah, it's a horrible feeling. Like I think I'm at the point now, if I were to have a video to kind of take off like that, but I don't feel like the niche that like me and you particularly are in, or are like that. But that's okay. Viral videos for me. I have a few videos with over 100,000 views on my channel, and those are great. I don't need more than that. So.
And that's okay. I don't think we're gonna get viral content unless we do something that is so outrageous and it's out there that requires like how you stream and you throw your controller through the TV or something. I don't unless you're doing something like that. I'm not wasting technology. Screw you guys.
Yeah, exactly. I love you guys, but not much.
Question from chat that just popped up. Bearded Gamer asks, how did you learn what worked for mic and camera angles when you first started? This is really important because you said you started with a phone and a Boya. Break that down a little bit and we'll go on to the next part.
Yeah, so I mean, with me, when I started with my phone, it was a lot of work having one camera, especially doing like review content stuff. When I was trying to put B-roll on, so I would review the entire video from like a front, get it like looking at me or however I wanted to set it up, kind of like this, wide angle if I could, good lighting and stuff. And I would go through the entire video, and I would have my bullet points written down, and then what I was talking about. And then after I was done, I would go through my bullet points again and then take B-roll shots of like, I would just set the camera up on a tripod looking down with the controller or something, or try to get cool looking shots because I wanted to be that Mr. Cool guy that I wasn't, and do it and do that with my phone, and just went over and afterwards and overlaid. I will say, down the road, now that I've gotten 2 camera angles, I got a camera here, I have another camera here that does an overhead shot, kind of like you do, Mark, and it's so much easier to make content with it. But I don't recommend it starting out, because I saw Bearded was talking about needing camera and stuff. It's like, hey, you don't need that starting out. Just depending on what your niche is and stuff too, you might be able to not have to be as in depth with B-rolls and stuff as we are. I don't know what his content is, so maybe he can drop that content and we can give him some pointers or in the comments.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Bearded, what kind of content you make? Let's break that down. Those of you listening on podcast, I'm gonna flip through some angles and kind of talk about that same piece. Now we're here. This is my PC setup. When it comes to overhead, like I've got this camera that's specifically for an overhead.
That's perfect. I mean, the black screen and everything. I mean, you got it. That's such a good angle.
Yeah, and then obviously I still have like my main recording camera angle, which is what I use for YouTube. Not that anything is going to load, that I'm clicking the buttons now, but like I still have my main stuff over there, right?
There it is.
Yeah. So, but today we're over here, computer. We're at this point, and the question that is really interesting for me when it comes to this is, how did you learn what first worked? I don't even think I've learned what's worked now, and I'm 4 years into it. I think very often, like that camera angle that's the overhead, I just put that up last week. And I have moved overhead setups multiple times. I have moved my main camera multiple times. When I was at my old house, I don't think I left my camera in the same spot for maybe more than 2 months. And it was just because I always thought, man, I could do something better. I could adjust some lighting. But what really drove it was I started asking people specifically. And because when you look at someone and you say, hey, what do you think of what this looks like? They're gonna be honest, or someone's just gonna be nice to you. So go to someone that you love that doesn't mind being mean to you. But I would ask, like I go to my wife. But the truth was, I was teaching at the time, so I would literally go to my students and I was like, "Do I look like a dingus in this?" And they're like, "Yeah, like you look really like blown out, dark, or crazy. You're balding. Everything you could possibly imagine."
Thanks, guys. I mean, I need you to be honest, but not that honest. God Almighty.
That's why I started shaving my head. They roasted me too much. But I asked. I was very specific. Like, does my audio sound bad? Was I too soft? And I think that's made its way to today, where I've worked with so many editors over the last couple of years for my content. I now have an editor again, where I can easily look at them and say, like, here's the EQ curve I like. Here's where I like my decibels to land. I like this color on me. Like those, it's easy to have that conversation because I've experimented so much. So do you know what's a good camera angle? No, but I will say this. I have spent more time in the last year watching photography channels, videography channels, audio engineer channels, and actually delving into them. Like, for example, I'll give you a couple that you really should look at. Mark Bennett's Camera Crisis, budget audio video channel for cameras. Absolutely amazing. Cameras like Gerald Undone. Everyone probably should know Gerald if you're a content creator. Gerald Undone is fantastic. Covers everything that comes around a camera release, but breaks it down really easily. When it comes to photography, I like Ko-Fi Yeo, and this is something you'll have to go look up. He's a smaller channel, but he breaks down cameras and angles, and he's a production videographer that talks about his job and what he does. It's just really neat. I think when I started learning that part of what we do as a creator is so many different things. We're audio engineers, broadcast engineers, videographers, we're editors, we're, script writers, we're so many different things that comes from a normal production set that you really have to take the time to really hone in on that and really drive what that is, right? Like Pew's adjusting his camera right now because I think he realized it's crooked.
Yeah, I know. I was like, hey, well, at least my camera's on. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, so I'll give a couple tips when it comes to it. Shooting in a room. This is something easy. Shooting into a room like this, if you have anything that's an angle behind you, this is an art tip. Anything that when you're at an angle or a corner behind you, everything that's a line that leads to you is called a leading line, which makes you the center subject of your frame. So anytime you can put yourself in a corner of your frame, where they're like, that's the corner of my rim back there. You have a bunch of leading lines that draws to you. Whereas like my A-roll and Pew's A-roll right now, how he has a flat wall behind him, so a lot of those lines go vertical and kind of out of the way, and lines point away from him. So it doesn't necessarily pull the fixture to yourself. That's just a kind of an art thing. That's a really good way. When it comes to lighting, if the lighting is more important than your camera, and if you value your camera, you'll value your lighting more. So make sure you have plenty of light, and also make sure you have a good microphone, because I think audio is more important than video most of the time.
I was like trying to like figure out this whole time while you were going through all that, like, because like you were black on my screen forever, and I think it was just on my side. I think you were still being able to. I was like pulling your live stream up, and so I was like, man, does this guy not even know he's not like being seen by anybody right now? He's going through all these angles and stuff. But yeah. I think it was just me. We're good.
Was it chat? Yes. Was I black the whole time? Because on my screen it was showing just fine. Oh man. Dang. Okay, so let's talk about it. Bearded Gamer says he plays survival gaming. So here's my thoughts. If you do if you're a YouTuber or you're Twitch, either one, depending on what you do, if you're Twitch, I want you to think about what your camera angle is. You need to put yourself in the bottom left of the screen or the top left of the screen or on the left side. Because if you're on the right side of the screen, when you're watching mobile, the chat will overlay on the right, which means it overlays over your face. So you don't want to do that. Same thing for YouTube. Sometimes it overlays over your face on the right side of your screen when you're holding the device. So make sure you're on the left side. But in that same case,
you say that like left for them or left for us?
Like if you're on our screen right now, chat would overlay you right now.
Okay, so we would need to be. So, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So that's a good point.
Yeah, same thing. Even when you make thumbnails for channels and stuff, you got to remember that the bottom right they reserve for your time. So putting anything important in the bottom right of your thumbnail is not smart. Make sure you put it in any of the other places on the screen. Even your like live button is in the top right sometimes. So kind of think about where you place stuff. I would keep important things on the left side. Plus psychologically, most of the world minus the Western part of the world reads things left to right instead of right to left. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Pew, go ahead, jump in right there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, there's actually a free for the YouTube side of it. There's actually a free. I was trying to look it up real quick, but I'm not able to find it right here right now. But there's a free app or online thing that where you can actually take your thumbnail, and Bane or Kisser knows it because I shared it with him. So maybe if you know exactly what it is, Bane, because you've been using it, you can drop it in the comments for some other people. But what it'll do is once you do your thumbnail, you can post it in there and it'll show you what it'll look like on every single platform. So like if you're like on PC or you're on a television or you're on your cell phone, that way you can kind of see where everything is and make sure like, you can read the text, everything looks good, and nothing's covering, the time frame's not covering anything important on your thumbnail itself.
Yeah, totally. And I love that site that you're talking about. It takes the opportunity and removes that guessing game of what you look like and titles. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't normally use it anymore. That's just because I've been doing it for so long. I understand how thumbnails and stuff work. That's why I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but I can find it if I need to.
Yeah, make sure you, if you are curious about it, go hit Pew up on Twitter at Pew's Review. Hit him up on Twitter. Hey, send me that link, bro. It's not. Can we call it Twitter now, or is it X?
I think it's like X, but I think if you go and type in twitter.com, it'll still come up.
I'm not ready to say X. Hey, go find me on X. I don't think I'm ready for that.
I sound like I'm like sending you just like some adult site. Like, hey, I'm over there on X.
Exactly. Like, come on. I'm over on X. Yeah, come find me. Yeah, that's great. No, find me on Twitter. I'm still going to say Twitter for a while. Until he removes twitter.com out of it, I'm still saying Twitter.
What is the thing about like possibly having to pay for a subscription and use Twitter eventually? Like,
yeah, I think he's trying to save bots and increase visibility. I mean, it's whatever. I pay for Twitter Blue just because I want to be able to edit my tweets, and I don't care. They help, blah blah blah. However, if they go to a paid thing, think about all the people who are not going to be on Twitter, and that's so controversial. People can get all tied up in it, I guess. But
yeah.
So, if they do it, why ruin such a great platform? 140 characters it's easy. Short thought, boom, done.
Yeah, there's definitely things that can be improved and done where you can get rid of bots without paying, I think. But I don't care either way. I mean, I'm not going to pay if it comes out just because like I'm not big enough and I don't have enough followers and stuff to, I think, justify the cost of something like that personally. So I don't know. It's a catch-22 because like that's the way you can talk with brands and stuff too, and be on their radar and stuff too. So it is a catch-22 on like if you should pay for something like that or not. So maybe like depends on where you are with your journey.
Yeah, totally. Unless my content falls through in the next little bit, I'll be paying because I want to message brands on Twitter. Because they respond quickly on Twitter. They email them, they take forever. And Twitter, they're like, yo, what's up, bro? All right, I appreciate you.
True.
All All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about. We've already kind of covered this as we kind of push on and off, right? Let's talk about specifically gear and software and hardware. What are some recommendations that we have for people when they get started? Because it's daunting sometimes, especially because you're thinking, I need all of this crazy stuff. What did you start on? And then we'll go that far.
Yeah. So when you first start out, like if you're starting on your cell phone, and they didn't even have this app out when I first started, and I think it's awesome. CapCut, like for editing and stuff, like literally CapCut is free. I mean, there is a paid version where I think you pay one time and it's super cheap anyways. And I mean, honestly, at that point, I would just do that if you're just like a little pay $10-$20 payment or whatever. But I would totally recommend using that for software, for like editing and stuff like that. And then when it comes to like audio, and I don't know if we have any podcast people out there or anything like that, but like Adobe has that. I don't know if it's still free because I know it was in beta for a while, where you can like literally upload your WAV file, MP3 file, whatever, and it will like literally take out any background noise if you like really trash. I mean, it compresses it a little bit and stuff, so you might notice that. But if you have like really bad audio that needs to be like cleaned up a little bit, and you don't have the skill to do that or the software to do that, you can literally do that for free. But like for me, it was just my cell phone, an app on my phone for editing. And that's all I did for a long time until I got the Razer laptop that I have here. And I got from actually Bane of Mice. We traded some property and stuff for it and did a illegal deal. And I got it from them.
An illegal deal.
Yeah, I did some favors.
Got you. Don't say it like that. I appreciate you.
I know. You just take that and then you're going to cut it and then post it online, and that's it. I'm done.
That's it right there.
Resolve on the computer side of it though. If you do have a PC, it's very like resource intensive on PCs and stuff, especially the free version. Like now that I've got the paid version. But it's got so much stuff that you can do with it, and so many things within Resolve that you can just take advantage of on the free version. I don't know how CapCut works on the computer because I've never used it. But for me, I'm just a Resolve guy all the way.
Yeah, totally. I think you covered a lot of things there that are really nice. Adobe Podcast, which is free, but if you're premium, then you get kind of speedy turnarounds. So the premium means that you just have Adobe Creative Cloud. Okay. And if you have that, you get quicker downloads, but it does work. They've added a couple of new features where you can actually do mic check, where it'll say whether or not your mic's too close or too far away, or if your gain needs to be increased. That's a really nice tool. And you can edit your video podcast audio inside that as well, like in Adobe Podcast, which is cool. Totally support DaVinci Resolve. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's on Mac and Windows, so you can choose either one. If you're on Linux, there's a whole bunch of other options you can also look at as well. But an easier one that's more accessible to a lot of people that people might be ready for is Canva. Everyone should know Canva, or if you don't know Canva, they've released an online video editor in their platform. So you can actually go into Canva, dump your footage, and edit your footage in Canva, and it'll render it and send it to you online. So you don't even you could be on a Chromebook, like a cheap piece of hardware, a tablet on Canva, and be able to edit through that. There's other softwares that you could take a look at. I think it's called Hit Film Express is another one. But in that same case, I would definitely look at Canva is a really nice one. So as far as like audio stuff, Voicemeeter, this is something I would recommend as you're a streamer. Oof. Mm-hmm. Even if not a creator, how do you use Voicemeter as a creator?
Oh man, so I have it set up so many different ways, to be honest with you. So I went ahead and paid and donated and got the potato. So I could have 6 inputs, and I literally have one for my mic, and then I have one for a capture card. So when I want to do anything with the Xbox or anything like that, I have one for straight audio for gaming or Discord, one for just a game. Like I have like several of them set up now that, like I told you, I have 5 inputs. That's right. Yeah, and then I have one I use for like anything going into my PC for like audio wise and stuff like that. But I have it set up strategically so that I have control over everything. And then like I can't hold it up because I don't have the cable room. I have like a little mixer that hooks up to your PC that I spent $70 on, and it's got 5 knobs on it. And it has 5 buttons on it. And I can literally use that to control. It connects to Voicemeeter, and it also works in OBS, Streamlabs. It's got you can use it for macros and stuff. So like this, like I need to do a review on this. I've been actually trying to work with this brand to actually like make content for them and stuff. We've been talking. Hopefully that'll go through eventually, because I honestly like believe in this piece of gear right here for like $70. Like it's such a good deal for what you get for $70.
I'm assuming it's the PC panel.
No, it's called TurnUp. They're a very small. Yep, it's a very small brand that started. They ran a Kickstarter last year. I ended up being one of the first ones to get the order in January, and I've been using it ever since. It's so new. They had a bunch of bugs like in the firmware that I actually worked with them on to help them like overcome those bugs, like with macros and stuff. They were like,
right,
you couldn't set more than like 3 keys of macros up at a time. So like we figured that out together. I sent them my suggestions on like what I think it is and why it's doing it and stuff. And they would send me updates before they pushed them out to the public to see if it would work and stuff like that. And like now it runs flawless on my system.
I love it. I'm looking at it now. That looks fantastic. It reminds me of a piece of hardware called PC Panel that released a couple of years ago. Very similar kind of thing, but this looks pretty awesome.
Same person. They just rebranded, relaunched.
Maybe. I mean, it's a different setup, but it looks very similar in how it's created. And in that PC panel, people loved it. Even one of my good buddies has a PC panel for his Voicemeeter.
Yeah, it's a pretty good piece of equipment for sure. The other thing I was going to say about software before I forget is vidIO.
vidIQ.
Nope, not Vid. That's important too. We can definitely talk about that too. But if you're doing like content like me or Brandon, where it's not gaming, because it doesn't really work for gaming niches, but if you're doing reviews or you're doing talking heads or stuff, and you want to push out more content with your long form content, vidIO,
vidIO,
.ai. It will automatically convert your long form into vertical formats, and it'll like automatically do it for you where they think it would make good content at, and then you would just go through it. You can change the text around. It puts automatic text on there. You get like 75 minutes of it for free a month. And for someone just starting out too, and I stopped doing it for a little while, but I'm actually going to start doing it again because of the update to Shorts. Because we can't link affiliates in Shorts anymore, but they did make it to where you can link long form content in Shorts. So I'm going to use that as an advantage to try to push people back to the original video by just dumping it in Shorts, and then always linking the original video to see if I can't push people, strategically push people over there to see the whole thing, and then through that kind of funnel them into the affiliate links and everything else.
Yeah, totally. I think that's great. I use the very extremely similar service, which is Opus Clip. It's called Opus.pro. Same thing. You get a tutorial and you pay for it. I use Opus Pro almost daily, but I use it for client work and a little bit for myself. Not too much, but it kind of speeds up that clip process. Even if it's just giving me the idea of what clips to pull, and I can go in the editor and do the regular edits. To get a little bit more granular control. It's really cool. It does not work with gaming content. None of these things work with gaming. It doesn't, it won't work. It'll say, this is not good. But for stuff like this, it would work 100%. Great.
Yes.
Yeah. Even product reviews, it does great. Like looking at product and pulling out things. I love it. It's really cool.
Yeah, especially if you because if you structure them like you have like a bullet points and you go over, like if I were to go over to controller and I start and talk about maybe the XYBA and then move to the
Hmm.
D-pad and then move
Hmm.
to the back buttons, it actually cut it up into individual. So you get a clip for just the XYBA, just the D, just the back buttons, and then just the ergonomics. It's really good on those points. But yeah, gaming, I think Bane said he tried to use it one time and it talked about something weird when me and him had a conversation about it. It pulled like that in and it had
Mm.
nothing to do with gaming. And it was a weird conversation at that because it was just me and him offline. And he was just trying it out by recording content. And he said, yeah, he wouldn't recommend it. Probably
Yeah.
would have got us in trouble if he would have posted that.
I think all of these things, AI is great. Incorporate it. Just remember that they're tools and they're not final products. So make sure you don't. And if you post an AI video and you're like, oh my god, that popped off, can you recreate the AI video every single time? So always remember, it's a tool. Can you make it recreation? Can you continue to do that piece of content?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next part here. We've got your first video ideas. I'm now at a point where I'm making content that, my content's kind of pre-planned for me because brands send me stuff. So I'm like, oh, they want an unboxing. That's okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's easy, right? But when I first started, those brands weren't sending me stuff. I had to be very specific and strategic about what I was doing. I know what that process was like for me, but when you first got started, what was that like? How did you go, you know what, I'm going to make a video. Here's what I'm going to make that video about. What's that process? Maybe did you script? Did you bullet point? Things like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like for me, it's I was very all over the place when I first started. And I still believe in this for people that are just starting out, like in a niche like me, is to find out what works for you and what people come to your channel and like vibe with you about. So for me, it was I did everything from chicken reviews, like chicken sandwich reviews, to car washing my car reviews. Like we did all kind of stuff. Like, and I will tell you, God's Chicken from Chick-fil-A did not win the chicken sandwich battle. We did a blind taste test, and it was the Burger King's chicken sandwich. Like blind taste test. Me and Bane did it live, well not live, but on a video. And for some reason, that chicken sandwich won. But anyways,
Wow.
I know it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Popeyes didn't even win. It is
My God.
but the thing is, I think that when you first start out, if you're doing kind of like what we're doing and stuff, or if you know what you're after, you know what you want to be in, that's one thing. Then what you would do, and how I eventually started going out about it, is looking up search results for individual things. When I first started niching down and stuff, after I started throwing spaghetti against the wall, I found out what stuck, and then I niched down more. It's like I tell people, you start out, I'm gonna try to do this here. You start out like this on niching, and then yay, I can use my wide angle. You start out like this on niching, and then what'll happen is you'll kind of get toned in to where you need to be at, and then you'll follow that path. And then what happens is you'll actually start to niche back out further in what you're in itself. Like for me, I got into Xbox controlling reviews, right? And then through that, I found out there was a thing for streaming there. So I niched out a little bit more. And through that, Xbox using microphones and stuff. So now I've kind of niched out a little bit more. And I've actually niched out a little too fast, I feel like. That's why I'm trying to rein it back in just on Xbox for as of now, until I build more of a core audience. And then I'm going to niche out even more. But I think starting here, getting here is like what you should be focusing on. And then from there out. And then what was your other question about?
Yeah. Do you script? What was that process like?
Yeah. So I started script and I realized real quick, I suck at it. I'm not very good at going off a piece of paper and paper. I'm not very good at going off paper. So I just do bullet points, and I'm to the point now in the ride that I was showing Bane in this, like, because I do a bunch of Amazon content now, like a lot. So I can literally just pick up anything and talk to you about it and tell you the features on it, and go like without missing a beat. Like if I'm pretty comfortable with it. Now, if it's something you've never handed to me before, I've never touched, you maybe, but I can still probably get through it. But bullet points for me is my best, just because of how I am as an individual, creative and stuff like that. I feel like if I'm scripted, I have to stick to the script, so I'm not going to be as creative as I could, and not, my personality, it won't shine through on the camera like it should, because I'm scripted. I have to stay on script. And some people it works for. Just for me, it doesn't. I'm more of an off the cuffs kind of guy. Strap your seatbelt on, get some popcorn, because we're going for a ride. Let's ride.
Strap your seatbelt in. Come on, guys. We're gonna do some content. I think I'm with you. 10 years of education created an opportunity for me to think on the fly, especially in music. Like, it's not, let me script my history lesson. I mean, sure, I can follow that stuff, but with the music, I've got notes, but I have no clue what Little Susie's going to play and how bad it's going to be. I got to fix it on the fly, right? So I think I started off very early on trying to do the bullet point piece. I even scripted a couple of videos, but I realized that I can't do that. So there are a lot of videos I know exactly what I'm going to say going into it, but I have this problem where I won't even look at it. And so I'll probably record like 3 times longer than I probably ever should, knowing I've made mistakes, and then I edit it out in the end, because it's just my workflow. It sucks. And whoever edits for me is like, bro.
Dude, you have if the people, you sound like me, because if the people see the videos that if we didn't edit it all, man, my videos would be 30 minutes long, every single time. And it'd be, okay, so I just real quick, because I can't help myself. It's funny. So I got the Resolve Studio version, and from that, you have the transcript thing in there, right? Mm-hmm. I've been having so much fun with that, just because it makes my job so much easier and cut my clips up. Because I know my last shot is going to be the shot I use, so I just go there, highlight it. You got a button, you can cut out all dead air, and it literally it makes my workflow so much faster.
Yeah.
But there will be times where I'll because I'm family friendly, of course, but there'll be times where while I'm recording, something will happen where I'll cuss because something irritates you. It's kind of like working on a car, right? Like, you're eventually gonna get irritated enough, and I'll be reading the scripts, and I'll be like, "Holy moly, did I actually say that?" It is just because it doesn't bleep it out. It's a transcript, so it literally puts it in there. I'm like, man, I need to watch my mouth. I am just I'm supposed to be a family friendly person over here, and I'm over here dropping all kind of language, but it's just funny to me.
No, I love that. I've got that filter that I can turn on and off really easily. I have no problem with it, because that teacher for so long, I was just like, you know what? Oh man, oh shucks. Nah.
Shoot.
Yeah. Dang
Shut
it.
the front door.
I could do that so much, but the truth was no. In my content, same thing. When I'm all my videos that go on YouTube, I don't cuss or anything like that. We pull all of that. You come to my stream, it might be a different story. But the truth is, it's one of those things that live content like this, and putting your personality through, this is the time where you can really get to know someone. Yes. Because we're editing so much. I just sent a 50-minute video to my editor and got a 7-minute video back. It's
crazy.
That's what happened, right? So when it comes to that, don't feel weird. Oh, and that's tip number 1 that we've already said a bunch of, but I'm going to say this. Tip number 1, when you make a mistake, please don't hit stop on your recording. If you have the space to be able to do it, if you're on your phone and you're out of space, it's a problem. Just hit record and just let it go. Okay. Because that whole process of stopping and starting adds to that defeatist kind of feeling that I'm just continuing to make mistakes. Just pause and do it again.
And that's a good tip. And then another good tip on top of that is talk to yourself, your future self, while you're recording. So if you mess something up or you need to add something in for editing, I do that all the time now. I'm just like, hey, James, idiot. Yeah, you look at me. Make sure you add this B-roll here. If you don't, the video is going to suck and you're going to lose 15,000 subscribers. All right. So definitely do that. And then just pause. Don't hit pause. but just pause for like 5 seconds, gather your starts, and just start talking again. And that way, when you're editing, you'll see a long pause and you'll know something's up there. So you can just go to that point to see if that was your last take, and then you could just delete everything behind it.
Yeah, totally. And I think the other there's so many little tips that I can say with that. If you're a narration channel and you want to have really good audio, like grab your phone, okay, put it on voice memos, go walk into your closet with all of your clothes and everything that's in there. It'll deaden that sound instantly. Record in there, right? If you're a person who is a game streamer and you've got really loud, like clicky, clacky things, get your mic a lot closer and turn the gain down, yeah, make it to where exactly like sounds like you got reds over there. So, I mean, think about it, try to make sure that you position yourself in the right way. If your camera is a little too dark or a little too bright, think about the lighting, adjust the stuff. On cameras, you can actually press and hold on the screen. Oh my God. Blow it out, why don't you? You can press and hold on the screen and lock the exposure and the focus on you to where it won't adjust up and down and hurt your white balance and things like that. Make it to where it's consistent. So there's a lot when it comes to that, but think about the editing process when you're recording, and it will make your life a lot easier in the end. Like you said, give yourself notes.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like if you're doing like things where you're reviewing items and stuff, like, just having like if you have a like just bullet points, or not even bullet points, just something like if you're going to go like, okay, example, if I'm going to go and do a controller review, that's just as simple for me. I might start with the XYBA, then move to the D-pad, then move to the other functions, and then the joysticks, and then I'll go to the back and worry about the buttons here and stuff. So what I'll do is I do that all in order, and then that way when I go to do my B-roll shots, I don't have to rewatch my A-roll because I already know what it is. So I'll do the B-roll shots in that same order. So when I upload everything to edit it, everything's already in order. All I got to do is just cut it up and put it in real quick. I don't have to go and find it here and find out where I've recorded the B-roll here and stuff. Keep it in order, organized. Little tips like that, it will save you hours. And then over time, hundreds of hours, if not thousands, depending on how long you stay with it.
Yeah. And you're still going to fail, and you'll probably still have to go back and do B-roll. Even to this 100%. Day, literally, I just recorded a video. I think it was a video went up yesterday, K669D review, whatever.
I watched that, or listened to it, I should say. Can't watch stuff.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the view.
That was a good
video.
This mic compares to it, I feel like.
I that same owner, they reached out to me and said they were going to send me that mic. And that was kind of the end of that conversation. I was like, okay, all right, send it to me.
Dude, they are so bad at that. They just like stop talking to me sometimes, and then they'll just like reach out, hey, we're gonna send you, wait, what? And then like
yeah,
I was like, ask them a question and they won't even respond. I'm like, what are you guys doing? But yeah, the PD100, yeah, it sounds pretty good. I feel like for the price.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I wanted them to send it because I wanted a budget alternative, right? And no, they just, hey, why don't you nothing. But yeah, so when it comes to looking at what you need for hardware and video and software and stuff, the truth is whatever works for you. If you're on a MacBook, look at GarageBand for your video or for audio. Look at iMovie for video. If you've only got a cell phone, CapCut is fantastic. If you've got a Chromebook, Canva and Adobe Podcast are really good options. If you've got a big, a PC, start looking at DaVinci Resolve. Look at things like Audacity as a free and open source audio editor that's completely free. Download Audacity. Those are a really good option. If you're a Twitch streamer, you can do all of your recording, or if you're any kind of game person, you can go through OBS, which is a completely free software to be able to do all of your audio recording and video. If you have a webcam, that's how you can record your YouTube videos. If you have a PC, really awesome way to do all these things. There's completely different software. Lightstream has a great thing. Restream has a great thing. Joby has a thing. Everyone can help you record. You just got to find that software. Some of it's not free, but everything I think we mentioned today was free.
Yeah, everything that I mentioned, there is a free version to it at least, and then if you want to pay, that's what I asked you. The Canva editing, is that free? I have Canva Pro, so is Canva the editing software free on there for people to use?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
there you go. Yeah, that's
Yep. You
awesome.
want to, and it edits verticals as well, so you can go edit your TikToks there. Like there's something right now. There's this huge, and I'll cover it just for a moment. There's this huge AI problem where they're taking all of this. You basically can go in Chat GPT until you give you like 50 responses, and you can take it, and in Canva you can link text to specific elements. So you can take Chat GPT renders, dump it into Canva. Canva will automatically and dynamically create multiple videos for each piece of the text. You put a video behind it, and there's people who are making hundreds of thousands of shorts to upload on channels in less than a day. And I'm not joking about that. Like you can, and I did it to test it, and I took like 5 minutes to generate some stuff in Chat GPT. Took 5 minutes to click whatever in Canva. It took 10 minutes to download over 50 videos shorts that were ready to go and upload online. So AI is weird. I'm not recommending you go do that. I think that that's going to kill your channel if you attempt to do that, truthfully.
No.
But Canva is a really good thing, and it's free. You can get a trial and stuff like that, and blah blah blah, and you get better stuff. But there is a free aspect to it.
Yeah, I think especially if you're using it for thumbnails, you don't need the paid version. I have the paid version, but that's because my wife wanted it when she does her editing and like for photos and stuff, and she was doing certain things and stuff. She wanted to spend money, so I let her. And now we can, once you get to the point, you can just start writing stuff off. I write it off. I use it for thumbnails. So
yeah, there's I'm trying to remember it. Dark something, dark plate, I can't remember. There's a thing that's basically Adobe Lightroom. This is for your wife. There's a thing that's basically Adobe Lightroom that you don't have to pay for. That's completely free. It's an open source thing that's identical to that, and it does all the HDR, blah blah blah, everything you want to pull out. Really cool. I'll send it to you later. I think it's called Darktable. It is actually called Darktable. It's literally Adobe Lightroom but free.
Yeah, I'll definitely check into that. I mean, I'll probably keep Canva at this point just because it's so easy and I know how to use it now. I'm kind of like a guy of like nature, like I don't like to switch once I learn something. but yeah, I'll still totally check it out.
Well, it's not. I wouldn't use it for thumbnails. I'm talking about like if you're you take pictures and you take your like camera photos, you put in, you want to edit all the colors and stuff and make it look pretty.
Oh, yeah. Like Adobe. Yeah. Adobe. Yeah. Because she pays for Adobe Lightroom.
Yeah. It's basically Adobe Lightroom, but for free.
Oh, yeah. Definitely look into that because, I can get rid of that. I don't need to pay for that. I mean, I can claim it too, technically.
You totally should.
Yeah.
I will. Should.
I am.
And we should. Oh, yeah. We should talk about taxes, but that'll be for another one. All right, we're getting towards the end. Quality versus quantity. Okay, in the beginning, should you focus on, this is something that I have a person in my community who has been, I'm building up this, like, I'm trying to paint this backstory, I'm trying to create this like scenario in this universe and blah, blah, blah. And they have a really cool idea, but they're trying to focus on the quality and they're actually not producing content, right? Because they're kind of stuck in that. What is that called? The roadblock that happens? I can't remember. Anyway, they get stuck and they haven't uploaded anything. So that might reveal my answer. But the truth is, quality versus quantity. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we're going to probably agree. So when you first start out, I think it needs to be quantity. And the reason why is because through quantity, quality will come. Through repetition, like I said earlier, is the king of like, getting better at something. Perfection is, being perfectionism can be hard to do that. But if you put out more and more and more, you're practicing more and more and more, your quality is going to get better anyways. Like it's impossible not to get better if you're putting content out constantly. I do believe on your journey though, there has to be a point and a time where you go, and I actually just hit that myself recently, where it's like, hey, I'm going to try to keep up with the quality or quantity that I've been keeping up with, but my quality needs to get better in certain areas or certain aspects of my video, just because I'm hitting that season in my life. And it's become easier to do that though, because of all the work I put in. And you have to be careful too, because if people put out so many videos, it can be very easy to get into a nonchalant type of like just uploading syndrome, I guess you would call it, where you're not really worried about quality at that, at a certain point, you're just uploading to upload. And I think that can hurt you. But at the end of the day, when you first start recording and you first start, like quality doesn't matter because I haven't had one person, even on my first video, I haven't had anybody come and tell me how bad it was. Even though I know it sucks and I can look at it. If you go look at it, you would probably say it sucks too. I'm not saying you're not going to have someone not say something, but I'm saying that those people that do say something is so far and in between that it doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, they're not where you are and they're not doing what you're doing and you're on your own journey. But yes, I definitely think you need to pump out content to start out with to get better in your craft.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that whole point of learning by doing, trial by fire, failure to create something. And this is my question to you, that's me to you specifically. Have you ever recorded a video that you never released?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm not the only one who has done it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's actually a series I just did, and I was like, I was super excited about it. I was like, because this was me niching out too fast, I feel like, and I figured that out, and the quality wasn't up to standard, I felt like, for where I was in my journey. So I decided I just haven't released all of them. I released two of the videos on how to use Streamlabs. Like I had this huge idea where I'm going to do like an overview video, then I'm going to do a straight settings video, then I'm going to do like, every single video. And then like, I just realized they weren't good. And I was just like, I'm just going to do away with it. I'll start again next year. I'll try again. And the funny thing is, even though they sucked, even though they're not good, and I can say that personally for myself, I haven't gotten one comment about how bad they were.
Yeah.
And they look bad. I think a lot of people, they were getting this perfectionism, like we have to be perfect because we are so worried about what someone's going to say about it that it keeps us from uploading. And when you don't do that, you never can grow because you're never uploading. Like I should have started when you started. Like I literally just had this conversation the other day. Me and my friend said, if I would have started when I wanted to start 2 years prior to when I started, which was probably right around when you started. I would be so much further along in my walk right now and how far I am in helping people and getting, I can honestly look at you and say, I could very easily be where you are. Not like easy, like, but just saying like, I could be where you are full time in this. And it's because I was so worried about perfectionism. I was so worried about what people thought about me. And I was so worried about, just being nervous and stuff. I never hit record. And because of that, it's now hurt me because there's a lot more competition out there after the pandemic than before the pandemic.
Yeah. That is such a true statement. And in that same case, I think that speaks to the whole point of everyone has a journey and everyone has a path. And even though, like what you said, it hurt you, in my opinion, that's your story and your path and your journey. And in the end, wherever you end up, however it is, it doesn't change the fact that this was where you came. And maybe in that part of your life, if you did start 2 years earlier, you might not have been in the same space that you are now to be as successful in your channel as you are. And that might have had a different outcome. You might have even ended up on a completely different niche than what you're doing now too. It could have been vastly different.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I'm good with that. Like, honestly, like, I wish I would have started earlier, but I might not have started when I started because I wasn't ready to start.
Exactly.
Everything happens for a reason. So
yeah. And that's okay. And those of you who are listening, watching, whatever the case, you need to know that if this has told you that, hey, you should have been creating by now, and that maybe what we've heard is that you are wrong because you've failed to create or failed to upload or failed to do something. The truth is, we're not saying that you failed. The truth is that what we're trying to say to you is everyone's path and their journey is the same thing. And by showing our two perspectives, our two stories, it's just to be able to say, like, This is what we encountered and what we did. And just because I started 4 years ago, or you started 2 years ago, or you listening might be starting 2 years from now, it doesn't change that at that time in your life, when that season you finally hit record, that's the time that's really important for what you're doing. And we're trying to give you kind of advice to get started. And I think the last, not last, but I think the part that I want to drive home specifically on that is, people who find you online, you're not going to be able to impress, help, and encourage 100% of the people who watch your videos. It's not going to happen. Someone is going to dislike it. Someone is going to be against. Someone is going to show some kind of insincerity that comes to your content. And that's okay, because what you're trying to do when you upload is to push content. If you have a goal, like our goals are to help people to accomplish their goals when it comes to content streaming and things like that through reviews and tutorials. And yours might be comedy, or it might be baking and finding enjoyment in that. And some people might not find that same enjoyment that you do, and that's okay. What you need to be focused on is the content something you can reproduce? Are you having fun? Are you enjoying it? Are you listening to the audience that you want to be able to cultivate? And if you are, then the rest of it doesn't matter, because the audience is what you're trying to create for.
No, that's 100% it too. And at the end of the day, you're going to try to do stuff that you want to do on your channel, and you're still going to get like for example, like with me, it's like, hey, I want to do content with no fluff and, you know, get the point out as quick as possible. Like I made a 4-minute video, literally a 4-minute video on something. I can't remember exactly what it was. I remember it's 4 minutes long. And someone came on there and said, this video is dragged out. Oh, it was how to stream on your Xbox. It was literally this year, how to stream. It was like a 4.5-minute video where I went from start to finish on what the settings are, what you needed to do, and how to set it up. And literally said, you wasted, this video is drug out. I was like, what? You know, but at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I just laugh about it. I'm like, cool, hit the heart. Thanks for the comment, because you just helped me out a little bit, and keep on moving. And the one last thing I want to add about the quantity over quality is, I just talked to, I'm a coach with a certain person that may or may not be in chat. I put my coach hat on with them all the time. I tell them, when you're just starting out and you're trying to learn how to like use the editing process, editing program and everything, and you do a video once a week, and then you take 3 to 4 weeks to do another video, you're hurting the progression of your editing skills and stuff. Because what happens is, you'll learn how to do something, and that when you edit it, like you didn't know, and you'll like start forgetting it because you waited so long to use that brain power again to edit that same piece of thing. So that's why we say it's so important to do quantity at the beginning over quality, because you will learn more because you're doing it more, and you know, you won't forget it because you're doing it so much, and you'll just get better and better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out.
Totally agree. Yeah. Be consistent. And it's not consistency. That might be something a lot of YouTube advice people will be like, you need to be consistent on YouTube because you need to upload the videos, and YouTube loves that. YouTube has said multiple times that every video is treated completely individually, and that they don't care about the streak of the channel, but your audience is created by the videos that you create. So what I'm saying by that is, you being consistent in quality is, in my opinion, less about you uploading to impress YouTube's algorithm, and it's more about you building as a creator so that the algorithm finds the more improved you in the end. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And the one thing I will add to it is, what I tell certain people that it might be in your chat again, is that when it comes to consistency, the only reason why I talk about it and like, hey, you need to kind of get on a schedule, is such you'll do it.
Yeah.
Because like life happens, and if you don't have any kind of a schedule, it's going to be super easy to like, well, I can't do it this week because of this, or I couldn't do it next week because of that. So if you have yourself on like a little bit of a schedule, a consistent schedule, where you're like, okay, I have to get 1 video out a week. I'm not going to try to do 3 or 4 like some of these new people do. And then it ends up being too much to start with. Like when I first started, it was 1 every other week. Then it was 3 a month. Now it's 1 a week, you know? So, you know, we just start consistency with just an upload, as in just to get yourself on a schedule, and then just work on quality, and then keep to, you know, keep going and going and going. But yeah, I do agree with you on the consistency part of not putting out crap just because you're got to be on schedule. Now I'm consistent on Sundays, but if my video is not done because there's something not done with quality, I will drop it late just because my quality is important to me now.
Yeah. And that's okay. I think we've both reached that point where I think we understand, like, if there was a time I didn't release a video, this was about a year ago. I didn't release a video for like 6 weeks. And it was just because I was going through something in my life. It wasn't anything bad. YouTube wasn't my priority, and I was streaming a lot and I was enjoying my community. But during that whole time, I was still getting views. And that's why uploading videos, getting a catalog, getting a library, all of that continues to grow your channel. Even when you're not uploading and not live, there can be opportunities for growth, but you can't grow if you don't have content. So you've got to be able to, all of that kind of wraps itself in the same kind of thread there. Yeah. Imposter syndrome, and then we'll call it quits. I think you called it before we got started. We're not going to get everything done in an hour.
No, I knew it. When you sent me to Celeste last, I was like, "There's no way we're going to be able to do this in an hour." But we had some technical difficulties, so we can take a few minutes off because of that.
Yeah, that's right. Technical difficulties. Yeah. Okay, imposter syndrome, and then we'll wrap it. We'll keep this one short because I think we've already covered it a couple times throughout the podcast. But let's define it. Go ahead and tell everyone what is imposter syndrome for those who might have heard it but might not know.
Yeah, so I mean, there's like a few different ways to look at it. One of the ways is I would go with is thinking you're not good enough amongst peers, and that's amongst people that are in maybe your niche or what you're doing or such. Like, you constantly comparing yourself to others that are on a different journey, that are on a different life than you, that have maybe, like, it'd be make me comparing myself to Heller. If I were to compare myself to him right now, where he's at versus where I'm at, I would think I'm not good enough. I would think I'm not. I don't. My quality's not there. My on-camera appearance isn't there. The way I talk isn't there. The interactions aren't there because, I'm not getting the views that he's getting. So all these things and thoughts will start filling your head, where you start to feel depressed. You start to feel you're not good enough. You start to feel like, should I even be doing this anymore? Am I even growing? All these things start to fill your head because you compare yourself to others, or you just think you're not good enough, like, at all, just because, like, my wife, this is, she told me not to do this. I'm doing it anyways. I don't care. My wife does amazing. And this is, I might be biased, and I don't care. She does amazing photography work for where she's at in her journey. She literally just picked up the camera last year and just was like, hey, I want to take pictures, and literally just learned it by herself. Didn't go through any classes or anything, and takes amazing macro shots of flowers and stuff like this and that. Does all her own editing and stuff. I'm like, baby, this is amazing. Like, you need to be trying to outsource this. You need to be trying to, help people make money, do whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't, no. And, it's like a thing. And she's told herself so many times in the mirror. And I think a lot of us do this, and I do this with certain things in my life too, that I'm not good enough. And once you tell yourself that so many times, that thought eventually starts to set. And it starts to get rooted in. And once that thing is rooted in, and that imposter syndrome starts to get deeply embedded in you, it can really do damage to not only you as an individual, you mentally, physically, spiritually even, but your growth on YouTube or on Twitch because of that. So, that's just kind of my thought process behind it. Everybody has their different aspects of it and different thoughts on it and stuff. Me personally, I definitely had this when it was like, and for the most part, I'm a very, very, like, I feel like I'm very level-headed when it comes to like emotions and stuff. Like, I don't have like really bad anxiety. I don't really have depression and stuff like that. But there are some times where I compare myself, and that syndrome will eventually set in, especially when I first started, where I was like comparing myself constantly to bigger creators and stuff. And I'd be like, especially when I do a video that's kind of compared to another video, and I'm like, man, my video is better, but it's not doing anything. And then I start getting depressed and stuff, because it's like, well, is it me? Am I the problem? Am I supposed to be doing this? But again, I'm comparing myself to somebody else that's on a different path where they are versus where I'm at. Their journey is going to be different. It's kind of like you said, Brandon. We all have different parts where we're at and way we get there. We're all on different roads, but they all lead to the same place eventually if we just keep going down them and stuff. And we just, we gotta have faith, trust the process, and never give up.
Yeah, totally. I think you said it very well. In that same case, yeah, I just read chat. Did you read chat? One in the chat said, I wish my coach called me baby.
If I call you baby, that means I get to spank you.
See, we're getting spicy on this stream. But as far as imposter syndrome goes, I think you've hit it on the head. I don't think there's much I can add on that. It's about that, putting yourself in a position where you realize that you are your own individual and unique person in this world. No one can be you, and no one can be that other person. And that what that comes with is that you can't replicate what is not yours in your path, your journey, your circumstances, your background, education, your family, your history. None of that can be replicated except when you literally have a carbon copy of you, which can't be done yet. Yeah, I mean, yet, but that's what happens.
Right. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there, but it can't be done. So when it comes to you being a successful YouTuber by looking at others, or not even a YouTuber, a creator, a father, a husband, a wife, a mother, anything that you put yourself in your life when you think of imposter syndrome, the moment that you start comparing is the moment that you realize that you're valuing the outside appearance of what you're doing rather than the inner success that you're creating for yourself. By you creating that piece of content and putting it online, there should be that moment of you saying that I've created a product and put it online, and not that moment of, I wonder if my views are going to be this. Or in some cases, this is the other part, I've taken a picture of my son having fun at the park, and so posts pictures of their kids all the time, but my photos didn't get a bunch of likes. Am I a bad father or a bad mother? I think imposter syndrome reaches itself deep into different parts of our lives. We're just talking about it from a creator perspective because it's on the forefront, because everything that we do has a social aspect to it. And the truth is, just because I reviewed a microphone or I looked at a piece of hardware that another creator did does not mean that I've stole their idea or anything of that. It just means that I'm reviewing this piece of thing with my thoughts, me, what I do. And when it comes to people like Harris Heller, I'll say it. Early on, Harris was like I triumphed to try to be Harris Heller. And the truth is, I have very much swayed away from that. And I'm not like that. I don't want to be Harris. It's not like he's a bad person or anything. I just know my style and who I am now. And I'm going to just create my content. So I think everyone early on is going to struggle with imposter syndrome in some way. It's the moment when you recognize that it doesn't matter that so-and-so's multi-$100,000 or not dollar, but subscriber or million subscriber channel makes the same piece of content and they get hundreds of thousands of views and you get 100. That does not mean you're a bad creator. That just means that this is the season that you're in. I remember, and I still release videos that get less than 300, 400, 500 views. To this day, I still do. And that's okay. And I have some videos that will go tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of views. Have I figured out why? No. And if I did, I would never have those videos. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm still replicating and putting out that content, because those 300 or 400 people that did watch that content, or the 30 or 40 or the 3 or 4, saw my piece of content. Whether they stayed long or not, that's completely different. Whether they got value or not, that's on them. I can't control human behavior. I can influence it through psychology, through thumbnails and titles, but I can't force someone to be human interacted with my piece of content. And that's where you remove imposter syndrome, because I can't make people do something that's impossible, especially through a phone on another end of the world. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, it's all very, very true. I couldn't agree with you more when it comes to that kind of stuff. And Yeah, I'm right there with you when it comes to people doing content and stuff. And people still in content stuff, like, I don't feel that way. I mean, there was a guy that I just literally, he did a piece of gear on a fine mixer. He showed how to use it on a PlayStation 5. And when I first started watching this video on it, he said something about like using it on Xbox and stuff. And I thought for sure the dude was going to give his boy a shout out because,
He was so
he got
mean.
a
He
shout
should have.
out.
It took me till
He
just
should.
then to realize you're talking about me. It took
Yeah,
me
no, I'm
till
joking.
just now.
I will say the way you set it up in the video, I was like, because you started out in the video and it was like PlayStation. I was like, oh yeah, I was like, that makes sense. He needs to do it on PlayStation. And he was like, you're like, and I know there's gonna be people in the comments talking about how can you use it on Xbox and this, that, and the other. And I was like, oh, is he about to give me a shout out? And he was
I
like,
should have.
I'm gonna drop a video on how to do that later. I was like, no, it's just
Totally
I
should
was
have
just
shout
like,
you out.
no, you're good, man.
My son just walked
Hey.
into stream. Hey, do you want to say hello? Can you say hey, James? Can you say hey, James?
Hi, James.
Hi. Well, he can't hear me, but hi.
You say hey.
Oh, hello. Oh, Mickey Mouse is in the house, huh?
Can I try it?
Can you try? Do you want to talk to chat? You want to talk to stream?
Hello?
Oh,
Say
boy.
hello, everyone.
Oh, what's your
Hello.
name?
Hudson,
What's your name?
Hudson.
it's me.
Can you tell people just record?
It's me.
Hey, it's me,
Oh,
Hudson.
hi.
I want to
Oh, it's
ask you
Hudson.
a question. How do fossils work?
How do fossils
How-
work?
Yeah,
How do they work?
How?
Can you tell the chat?
listen to me.
They're listening to you. How do fossils work? Tell them.
How do fossils work?
How do they work? Can you tell them?
All the ingredients make fossils. Right?
Right.
Right. Exactly. Couldn't
Great
have said it
job.
better myself.
Can you give me a high five?
Yeah.
All right. I love you.
I love you.
You want to go downstairs? You go get an ice cream sandwich?
Mm,
I want an ice cream sandwich.
Can I take?
There you go.
A tablet is in Daddy's truck. Can you go grab it? Mommy will help you get it. Go get Mommy to help you. I'll be down in just a second. I love him.
We'll be down 4 hours.
I love him. All right,
Yeah,
let's
that's awesome.
wrap it up. If he's home, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So imposter syndrome, don't let it impact you. Don't let it drive your piece. And I'm sorry we interrupted you, but yes, I should have gave you a shout out.
It's not. I'm joking. I thought you were doing it just because of the way you set it up, but then when you did, and all I did was laugh. I laughed. I was just like, "Oh, hilarious!"
man.
I was like, I thought he was about to shout me out. I wasn't expecting it, but it was just the way you set it up, and like, you're like, I know you're gonna be asking the comments how to do it on Xbox, and that. I was just like, oh, is he about to shout me out? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'll make a video for that later. I was like, douche. No,
No lie. The video coming up later in my content plan is I need to talk to Pew to make sure that we can collaborate on this video because I don't have the controllers and I don't plan on going and buying the controllers that are the third party ones. So the truth is, yes, I would love to be able to collaborate on a video because I don't want to go personally buy third party controllers. Literally, I did that review on the PS4 and now it's sitting over there. I've used it for that video.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, dude. I'll definitely help you out. I mean, any third party controller, I could send you a third party controller just so you can make the video for all I care.
Oh no, we'll just need to get in and talk about it. I need to get you on.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it and show you. And you jump in. I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. Jump over to Pew's review. He's gonna walk you through it, and then you do your spiel, and then I upload it and put it on the channel, and you can do a shout out. I'm sorry. I
figure it
think
out.
it's great.
Yeah, I know. I'm all about it. We could do it.
Okay.
We could definitely do it. Do a
Okay.
live stream and then, like you said, just upload it.
No, not even a live stream. I'll record my part. I'll say, all right, I need you to record your bit, okay, and then send me it, and then I'll stick it in the video, and we'll cut back and forth between me and you. I think that's what we do.
There you go. Okay, I'm all about it.
We just did
figure
a
it out.
brand collab online, guys. I love it. All right. If they
contract.
want to get in contact with you in any way, how do they do it?
Yeah, so simple at Pew's Review on YouTube, on Twitch, on not Twitch, the Pew, but I don't have a stream. Don't even go over there. But X. You want to see me and my content over on X? You can check me out there, Pew's Review, and also Instagram, Facebook, Pew's Review, all that good stuff. Just Pew's Review everywhere. I made sure I made it easy for everybody.
Love it. Love it. Now, this is going to be a series. We've kind of talked about kind of going through it and trying to talk about being a creator. So this was kind of like the getting started. I'd love for the next one to be about the process, like recording and editing, and like what does your process look like when it comes to that? Maybe going into some tips and tricks with L cuts and J cuts, audio things, compressors, setting up your camera, what is ISO, aperture, things like that are important, that could be really nice for someone who's a beginner to know, that we can kind of hash out on a live stream. I'd love to be able to do that in the next series.
100%. Yeah, 100%. We definitely make it work. We do it like monthly or something like that. I don't know. I was like, oh yeah, we're definitely doing it. Yeah. Anyways, 100%. I just had like 17 thoughts come to my head when you said all that. So that's why, we're live, and I'm like, oh yeah, we can do all these different things.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll hit all that. I'm really excited, guys. Thank you so much. Love you all. Everyone who's came over from Pew's channel to watch my stuff, you guys are fantastic. I've been loving to watch chat as it goes by. Thank you for allowing my son to come on stream and crash the podcast for a little bit. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the future. Do you have any final thoughts before we call it quits here, dude?
No, just be you, be true. And hit record and hit live and go for it. Go for your dreams. The only person holding you back at the end of the day is you.
Yes, and the economy. I'm sorry. All right, thanks, guys. Love you all. Y'all have a blessed day. We'll see you next time.